chat. Here we go. We have Vatira versus Diaz. It's another nice 1v1 of another KC member playing against the South American, as now all of KC are, I believe, in Texas, or at least on Central Time, as they prepare for the World Championships. We just saw Diaz versus Atto. Vatira said, give me a shot at him. I want to see if I can take him down. So it is another similarly terrible server for Diaz, because good servers don't exist for him anymore. Not only does he not get to play on 90 or so like he used to, but he gets even worse than the regular South American ping, which is 176. But of course, he makes it look like it doesn't matter at all. Will he be able to do that against Vatira? Has yet to be seen. 1-0 for Vatira as he opens the scoring in his best of 5. Diaz headed for a sidewall dribble. And Vatira knows to not let him get too deep into that dribble, because it's hard to be on the other end of it. He does manage to steal it away. Diaz flick gets undercut, couldn't get the power. Goal line save for Vatira. Now with 25 boosts left to go, he is going to back off and might have just... Actually, he did clear it. He cleared it just enough. Still not a great position for him. Diaz, not the best first touch, but he is Diaz. So he is going to try and make something out of it. And another goal line save. The level of calm that Vatira shows on the goal line. He is famously a great defender in threes. And he is showing that that translates to ones as well. And seems to have ice in his veins, recognizing no need to worry. He's got this controlled. Diaz now going to attack again as Vatira unable to stop him. Wait, there he is early. I think Vatira has had his game plan, probably watched the matchup against Atto, recognized what Diaz is good at, and has decided, I'm not going to let him play the aerial game at all. He has done a good job of challenging him early, and he's got himself a 1-0 lead. Now, Diaz can look quite unbeatable against many opponents, but it's worth noting that there is an opponent out there. Oh, Vatira, what a setup. Ooh, just barely off target as he hits the post. There is an opponent out there who seems to feel really good about their matchup against Diaz. Wavy, historically, has had a bit of an easier time, certainly than anyone else has, playing against Diaz. And so if Vatira wants to add his name to the list, might be worth adopting a Wavy-like playstyle. Vatira going for a full field dribble out of the back corner, akin to his opponent on the other side of the field, and it's actually a really early acceleration of the ball on Vatira's reset. Instead of kind of getting the reset and then backing off, he just instantly uses the flip, which I think is enough to get it over the top of Diaz, who is expecting a bit more of a setup. He just ends up forcing it in. Not only is Vatira playing well so far, he has a complete clean slate against Diaz, and he's just going to dive on the ball to make it 4-0. Vatira seemed to feel good about his chances here against Diaz. Specifically, wanted the matchup against him after he was able to take down his teammate. And whatever he saw, it seems to be coming to fruition now with a 4-0 lead. Lost this dribble, though. Diaz does get around Vatira, and we'll get one on the board. I mentioned it earlier. Ultimately, in the game that Diaz, iced out the whole series, it wasn't off of the back of tons of kickoff goals, which is how he kind of got his first 2 wins. But he certainly had the kickoff advantage against Vatira's teammate, and I would not say that that's been the case so far in game number 1. Diaz gonna steal this back corner boost. Vatira reads the challenge and launches a flick, but dies in the process of trying to set up a shot. And Diaz is back in his favorite position, but he hasn't been able to break through on Vatira. This time he's gonna go for a fake at a 50. It could be either, but since Vatira doesn't get a touch, it will just end up being a fake. And we talked about it. Vatira is doing his best to make sure that Diaz gets as few of these setups as possible. but demos are going to be an opportunity to get them, deep into the dribble before the defender can challenge. And now Diaz just being aggressive in the corner. He needs goals, but I'm not even necessarily sure if that is what has forced him to go for this challenge. He was surprising Atto with quick challenges as well at any moment of the game. Kickoff win for Diaz. Vatira taps it around to prevent an immediate goal. Diaz booming it to the back wall. And now floating one, attempting at the top shelf. Vatira, the nice read. It's going to be a half flip goal. Diaz could have even scored it on 0 seconds. Doesn't even let it hit the ground. Great punish play from Diaz. Fake challenging. Sorry, Vatira, who had very little boost. And as soon as he got him in the air, it ends up paying off. Vatira adopting his teammates' favorite kickoff, the heavy delay. It has resulted in a solid possession for him as he will transition down to the ground and go for a double jump bump. Diaz saved the couple attempts like this from Atto, but he will not be able to save this one. I think he actually got decently close. We're going to watch it again from Diaz's position. He got a touch, but not enough to fully slow it down. Chip shot. An attempt to read Vatira's fake kickoff. Vatira makes a save, neither one of them with a ton of boost. Diaz will pick up a couple pads and recognize the likelihood of a Vatira fake to go near post and hits the brakes. Now he's set up Vatira for a shot that should just be a goal for a player of Vatira's caliber. Just put power on the ball directly at the net. And a 2-goal lead with 22 seconds. Diaz not going to be allowed his back wall dribble. Maybe a spot that against other players you don't jump up to the back wall to pinch it away, but against Diaz you do. That is essentially a sidewall setup, which are often challenged in the same way, where you just jump up and pinch the ball so it can't get a clean start. It's worth doing that to Diaz. He's going to hop out of this one. So we head to game number 2. Game number 2. Diaz and Vatira. Why don't they change server every game? If I didn't already make it clear. Oh, you're talking about going to South American servers, aren't you? I just realized that as I started to explain. This is a great dribble from Diaz. Vatira has been challenging early. Try and challenge this one early. Diaz is going to pin it to the dead center of the field at ceiling height, saying, you can't use the wall. You can't use the backboard. If you're going to come challenge me, you have to come all the way to the top of the arena from the ground. And if you don't, then I get to take my dribble and I'll outplay you on the goal line because I'm Diaz. But as I was saying, Vatira is in the U.S. Double reset. Diaz dunk. Diaz has found his offense again. At the start of this game, all of a sudden the offense is there. I guess it was just the pink fennec that he needed to get into. But anyways, I'm going to attempt to explain the situation about the ping. Vatira on 40, Diaz on 180. They are playing US East. Vatira has low ping because he is in the US for the World Championships. And, it's a decent question, especially if you don't know about like the culture of tournaments and all that kind of stuff. I haven't been watching these forever, which is why don't they just go to South American servers where Vatira gets 180 and Diaz gets 40, so that we get some equal games where they just swap ping. The answer to that, and the reason why we don't even really think about that as an option, is because while 180 ping is terrible, it can be what's the word I want to look for? It can be mitigated slightly with practice. If you play on 180 or high ping decent amounts and you get used to, the ball jerking around, you can make it not quite as bad. And Diaz has practice on 180. Actually, not really 180. Normally, like I said, it's not quite that bad. But he has high ping practice as someone from South America who plays on USC servers a lot. Vatira, as a privileged European, and all the US East players are privileged as well. They basically don't ever have to play over 30, 40 ping. So they are not used to it at all. Vatira would be much more diminished in his ability by going to South American servers than Diaz is, clearly, as he's up 5-0 for going to USC servers. And it's not great. It's not a perfect solution. It's not completely 100% fair. It's not like Diaz makes 180 ping just be equal. So you should expect Diaz to be better when he ever gets to play, 1v1 on lower ping. But it's just better than the alternative. So anyways, just wanted to explain that in case anybody hadn't, understood why we have Diaz just play on 180 ping for the entire series. Again, it seems crazier when the person who's on 180 ping isn't the one winning. We just had Diaz play in a match with 180 ping the whole time, and he won. Now, Diaz, this is a great play. Vatira's ready to just go next. Diaz does not take this ball at Vatira. You see Vatira going to ceiling height? That's because he wants to challenge early. Diaz puts no forward momentum on the ball at all, so Vatira cannot close that distance. He instead has to go back down to the ground, and then Diaz just outplays him as they both land. It was a masterclass from Diaz while I explained his ping, and he's going to get a 6-0 win. His offense is definitely back, and the series is tied. Game 3. Vatira and Diaz. Vatira was able to slow down and almost full-on stop the aerial game of Diaz in game number 1. And it seemed like he had the recipe and the game plan to avenge his teammate's loss. And then Diaz went nuclear, which he is liable to do in absolutely nuclear game number 2, in which he forces an early forfeit and did not allow a single goal. But now we're at a tie series, and Vatira has shown that he's at least mentally reset slightly, because he's going to start this one up 1-0. But you have to neutralize kickoffs best you can, because if you do not, then you allow Diaz to wall to air dribble quickly off of the first possession, and he will score them more often than he will get stopped. Diaz, interesting bump here to get this goal. Sees Vatira turning back on the ball, and so he almost like preps himself to get hit. Like, I don't even think he necessarily was trying to bump Vatira. It almost seemed like he got in his way in preparation to get launched forward and then go take the shot while slowing Vatira down. Vatira gonna pop this one up. Diaz reset, just puts it on target, but because he gets the reset, he has a clean wave dash to position for the next shot. And not the best setup from Diaz, but that is what makes a good aerial player. This first touch, I don't think is one that Diaz would want. If he could go back and change it, he would. But he just makes something out of it. He boosts down towards the ball, which you pretty much never want to be doing. Gets the reset, lands down, and makes it a goal all the same. You'll see certain players be able to do, some crazy stuff in the air, but it has to go exactly according to plan with every touch. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And now, Diaz, he's got Vatira on the ropes. Vatira's ceiling challenges and everything he was doing early was working out well. But now, Vatira is getting a little bit more desperate, because off these kickoffs, he's recognized, I can't go back to the goal line. I have to just try and go for a incredibly risky ceiling challenge, because it's going to be better than just getting, beat over and over, which is what Diaz has done for 2 straight games. But if Diaz is reacting like that, it can just look like you're spiraling out of control. Vatira not spiraling, though. Going to get a second goal, and he's got a ton of time, so it's not the end of the world. It's just when you connect this game with the last game, it is 6-2 in favor of Diaz. Oh, sorry, 10-2. It was 6-0 last game, plus the 4 this game. But you know what? The vanilla 1v1 moves, they still work. They never go out of style. Doesn't even need to be a bump. Just dribble it straight down the field and double jump at the right time, and you got yourself a goal. If Diaz had 20 ping, he wouldn't score goals. All right, new copium has just dropped, chat. Never thought I would see that version of the ping copium. He actually slingshots the ball with his 190 ping. That's how it gets so much extra power. Dusty Dunks! Thank you for the prime. Oh, he means Vatira? Oh, that would make more sense. Vatira gonna make it 5-4. A good game, a great bounce back from the 6-0. And Vatira just bringing back the 1v1 essentials. Kadudin, thank you for the brand new prime. Contributing to the prime till full-time movement. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream. Diaz reading the early challenge. And this is another element. You know, Diaz is just the book on what to do right when it comes to wall-to-air dribbles or aerial gameplay in ones. And another great thing is early reactions to what the defender is doing. You know, not only is it being able to improvise when the setup doesn't go exactly how you wanted, but in another way, it's also improvising when the defender is not doing maybe exactly what you expected. Maybe they're going to challenge early. You need to make the right adjustment. Diaz, an expert at that, and this time he's going to go for a wave dash fake and let the ball bounce in to make it 6-5. Diaz would be, it's a very interesting phenomenon because from my perspective, I just watch all these games on stream. I don't really care too much where anybody, or really at all where the players are from. But the way Diaz plays, I think if he had an American flag next to his name, he would have like the entire of North America and Europe, everyone would be singing the praise of Diaz. Maybe I can't speak Portuguese. I'm hoping in the 1v1 world, in the Portuguese-speaking world, everyone is going insane for Diaz because they absolutely should be. Diaz now headed to ceiling height. Seemed like he was going to try and pull off for a fake. Yeah, we are? Okay, good. Good to hear. Good to hear. I think the hype is lost a little bit because obviously my audience is English speaking, and I think maybe there's a little bit less English speaking audience available for, you know, the Brazilians, the Portuguese speaking Rocket League fans. It doesn't really apply to the French fans though, right? I mean, French players get the same hype, I would say, from the English speaking crowd, but I guess it's just slightly different. And don't get me wrong, there's still a good amount of hype on Diaz, but I just think that it would be otherworldly from the English-speaking community as well if he happened to maybe be from the US or Canada. Vatira! A nice ground double into the top left. Nice read. Even in Spanish. I mean, we all should, right? I'm not saying people who don't speak English should, you know, not be giving him the hype. I'm just, I feel I'm trying to relay it to people, and this is just one of the ways I've decided to do it. Why is there not more Diaz hype? From my POV, it should be even more insane. So I'm telling any North American fan out there, if it helps you to put a little US flag next to his name mentally, go for it. This guy deserves it all. That being said, he has not won this series. He just plays very exciting, and that's kind of my point as well. Whether he's winning or not, he has got a very entertaining playstyle. This is a great interception from Vatira. Let's not talk too much about Diaz, because it may just be the GOAT when things are all said and done for this guy's career on the other side of the field, as he is able to steal away this possession and double it in for a goal and the lead in game number 3. So not only is he potentially winning, he's going to have the series lead if he pulls this one off. And really, it's just my fault. I was saying too many nice things about Diaz, which is basically a cast or curse. Full field air dribble, though, is going to tie it up. With Vatira's kickoffs come back to haunt him. You misspelled Vatira. Oh, Platira. Is that what you're trying to say? Like, Plats? We'll have to see. Joriez saving the raid. Diaz trying to go to the ceiling for the double. Vatira takes it away. This is a huge play with 30 seconds left to go. Vatira, I like that he has continued to stick with the high challenges. You know, just because they haven't had the same success as, you know, well, I should say, pretty much waiting on the goal line has not had any success. Great read of the kickoff. Immediate chip. Tie game again. Even though his percent success rate is low on both waiting on the goal line and going to the ceiling, I think it is slightly higher when he's going to the ceiling and trying to intercept Diaz. So I think it's right for him to continue to take those big risks, even if it leads to a couple open nets that look sillier when you miss your early challenge. But, you know, Diaz has proven that a defended net might as well be open. 9-9. Ooh, Diaz, he could have flipped out to this ball. But he was trying to get cheeky, I have to assume. I mean, or I'm crazy, but I think he could flip out here on 0 if he really wanted to. But he maybe thought he could convince Vatira to back off. Vatira sees a low boost defender, and he says, no, I'm willing to take the risk. I'll 50 with you, and I'll beat you, because on the recovery, my boost will help me, and you have none. Diaz is going to score! 10-10, what is going on in the games today? Diaz takes the back corner boost, and a single little pop will be enough to be staring at an open net. And we might not even have overtime. At this point, it would not be correct to predict overtime. And Vatira is maybe showing why. Double jump pop. Diaz to the back wall. Will pre-flip off of it. This time, ooh, Vatira couldn't quite keep it up. It was rolling towards the net. 10-10. Overtime in game number 3. A big swing of momentum in the series for whoever is able to score the next goal. And Diaz does seem to be a bit panicky here on the back line, but not necessarily incorrectly, because Vatira is around looking for that window. And so Diaz is just all over the ball, never giving him a window. He's going to set up a pitch to the side wall, and a rare missed finish from Diaz. But he recovers quickly and does not allow it to be a goal the other way. 100 boost for him. Vatira intercepts this one. Should be able to get around this. I don't think Diaz can get back in time. Vatira, after all the talk about Diaz, is going to be up in the series and in this game 11-10 to put himself on match point. GG. Wow, there's a lot of goals in Diaz games. I mean, Diaz is the common denominator, so can we finish it later? Oh, bummer. You have a scrim? You have a scrim? Can you play after? In 1 hour? Diaz can. In 2. Oh! Chat, do we stay live for 2 more hours? Like 8 p.m.? Diaz is Brazilian time. He might be translating to Eastern time. And actually, Vatira is in Central time. So that 8 p.m. is going to be pretty confusing. But yeah, it'd be 8 p.m. Eastern time. 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Brasilia, I believe. 7 p.m. Central, Vatira's time. And just to add it all on top, 5 p.m. my time, PT. KK, see you guys there. All right, that's as late as I could possibly do it. We continue the show match. At last second it happens. Oh no, Vatira was not ready. We're going to let them keep playing. I've made it very clear we're about to start right away. But either way, it's Diaz and Vatira. A fake kickoff, maybe accidental by Vatira, as he is up 2-1 in a best of 5 that through the magic of video editing will be back-to-back for everybody watching on YouTube. But for everybody on Twitch, we waited 2 hours. Vatira just played in 2 scrims. If you feel like he's playing slightly different than he was before, well, that's because it's been a bit in between them. But he is trying to close off the series and send Diaz packing as a way to defend his teammate's honor, who did just lose in a match to Diaz. We were talking very highly of Diaz as he truly has a spectacular play style. Very entertaining. And he's going to try and prove me right here as he goes from the back wall with a dribble at ceiling height and goes low, but Vatira actually gets the save. So not completely right. As now Vatira going to start an air dribble of his own. Reset, 50. The ball is still slowly rolling in, but before the last pixel goes in, Diaz in and out to make the save. 1-0 lead for Vatira, who will now half flip into the back corner. Vatira with a boost steal. Pre-flip into the ball. Air dribble bump. Diaz gets around it. I don't understand how. From my perspective, that seemed to be lined up perfectly, but Diaz finds a way to make the magic happen, teleporting through Vatira's car. And now on the attack to try and tie up the game. Vatira will rise up to challenge. Diaz, recognizing that, kind of pulls off the dribble a little bit, goes for the 50. Now has a net with a low boost defender or no defender, as Vatira just flips away and Diaz is able to tie it up. Vatira not going to take this out of the air. Diaz is going to say, hey, you can't do that. In today's 1v1 day and age, you cannot let the ball fall to the ground. You have to take it on a setup like that. Or at the very least, you got to try and protect it a little bit better, but they're so hard to protect. And that's why Diaz just steals it away. Now, Vatira getting aggressive on the back line of Diaz. Now, Vatira resets into a second goal. He recognized the early ceiling challenge from Diaz, so he went down to the ground and started a second air dribble. One where Diaz was going to be out of position and not challenging early. And he used that to get his outplay. Vatira should be able to find a goal here after the bump, and does. Retaking the lead. Could be just half a game away. Little dashes there on the side wall. You can see it in the replay. Thankfully, Vatira didn't skip as quickly as I did, as that was nice, a bit of mechanics that led to that shot. Vatira now kickoff into his back corner, trying to get the ball on top of his car. Pre-flip, and it's going to work. It's soft, but it's enough because it surprisingly moves the ball around Diaz, as it doesn't have a ton of pop, but it doesn't need to. It gets on the opposite side of the ball, and just a little bit of movement makes Diaz miss. 4-2 in favor of Vatira. Now Diaz is going to get a quick kickoff goal. This has been a big part of his game. It hasn't been as much a part of his game against Vatira as it was against Atto, but it has been 2 hours. I talk a lot about how, gameplay resets a little bit over the course of a day, or actually resets kind of a lot after a day. But even just 2 hours, I'd imagine we're getting a slightly different version of Diaz and Vatira. Diaz missing on the first attempt, but quick landing. Even Vatira recognized that there was not going to be a scoring opportunity. Power slide cut. It's a classic. Vatira, he needs to score it still. That wasn't completely guaranteed. Diaz almost could have made it back, but it's not even that crazy of a cut. I mean, it looks nasty from Diaz POV, but he really did just roll around the ball and power slide it in a way that I'm sure Flakes would convince you is not as hard as maybe it looks. Vatira 50 with Diaz. Not the best protection, but enough to send the ball into the side wall and buy himself time to recover. Diaz, not the best aerial play. Vatira wants to stay on the ball. What a read of Diaz. He just completely caught him. No ball cam for Vatira, as he does not want to have to look up. He wants to stare Diaz down, and Diaz kind of just a lot more awkward to read the play with his ball cam on. He needed it on to be able to see the ball behind him. And what a read of the fake kickoff. Oh no, it's not going to be a direct goal. Did seem like Diaz tried to sneak it around him and inside the left post. 3 goals to make up in a minute 15. Otherwise, Vatira is going to win this series 3-1. It's going to take him a grueling 2.5 hours to finish it off. But still, I'm sure the result he was looking for, as he taps this one away. Up the sidewall, dodging Diaz. Long shots. Diaz tried to cut in and break it up. Oh my goodness, what a save. And it's actually not followed up. It's still on the goal line. Diaz can get there. He's patient, and he knows not to freak out. He'll just collect the ball and make one of the most ridiculous saves we've ever seen. But is it going to be worth anything? He needs to get more goals. No demo on Vatira in the corner. And a high pop. He doesn't have the kind of boost that I think he needs to go the distance. In fact, he's going to run out early and go pick up 100, but leave the net wide open. So 7-3. An insane defensive stand there late from Diaz, but it is going to be a GG's. Vatira will take him down and finish off the final game after the 2 scrims. Nothing like a Game 3 win, a couple nice scrims, and a Game 4 win as well. GG's. Oh, I didn't get off in time. GG's, thanks for playing. I am going to end this game, and we are going to head out. It was a nice, long stream today, but now we are complete.